Of course, there's advantages to playing kind of those offensive picks. Your enemy team won't know how to play against them, but also there's the risk of your team doesn't know how to play with that champion. So definitely an interesting choice. Have to see what he ends up picking up for this next one. But we're hopping into draft here. We're seeing a very similar story in the bans.
Wukong first ban for Lotus White. That Akali for Hawkthorne. Look, I think even Hawkthorne players like Harstruck Brother do play this Akali, but you want to go ahead and get her out of there. She is completely busted right now. She's so disgusting. Get her on out of there. Very, very smart move. Yeah, Zen, Anivia going to be a new one for Hawkthorne. They saw what St. Alucard was doing on that pick. Get that bird out of there.
Yeah, and this tells me that they might be actually trying to run it back with a very similar composition. That Anivia was doing work on the waves, and because they're completely deleting the waves, they wouldn't have any chance to actually hit the towers they wanted to. You saw how long they were stalling out against even a Baron with that Anivia Sivir combo, made it so hard for Hawkthorne to be able to push in. And Ezreal first pick here was banned away last time, getting locked in immediately here.
That's what you do when you don't ban Ezreal. You go ahead and pick him up yourself. Now, this is going to be a very, very, very strong pick for a laner like Necrox for 80 carry who has a 6 point, what was it? No. Yeah, 6.5, I believe, KDA in this league. He's going to be very, very strong in this Ezreal pickup here. And Hawkthorne saying we understand how strong an Ezreal Karma lane is. We're going to go ahead and see Matty Mice pick up that champion, because if you're going to Ezreal Karma, you basically have to go ahead and give up the whole lane.
Yeah, it's just so much bow coming out from that bot lane duo. And also just taking away that utility. Lotus White, of course, picking that one up last game. They're not going to give him the shields or the speed this game. Going to have to find a different pick here for that bottom lane support.
Yeah, I mean, like we saw in the first game. Wow, hold up. Before I make that point, Karma, Vayne. Now, I don't know if this is going to be Vayne in the bot lane. I know Counters does play this champion in the bot lane. That's going to be some very strong engage, or at least follow up in the mid-late game. But this Karma Vayne lane can be very oppressive right here during the lane phase, especially into an Ezreal. We have that poke, and then when you get onto him, there is some pretty good damage that can go down here. Even into a Nautilus, there is some safety for him, but I'm really feeling this Karma and potentially Vayne lane here for Hawkthorne.
Yeah, and there's that Nautilus pick. You mentioned it last game. It was kind of the pick you wanted to see it slotted into that composition to make it a little bit better. Very different style already being shown here, but one thing I like to point out is that if you have the Vayne, you typically want to pick it into many, many tanks, and Lotus White now has the option to just not do that and kind of go for more of a carry, multi-damage oriented composition. Nautilus was locked in, so they might have just thrown that idea out the window with that pickup, but of course still very strong at throwing out the hooks. When Vayne has to get into that close range, you can drop the R on her, you can drop the hook on her, you can find something, Dredgeline or a depth charge to just take her out of the fight.
Well, Viego isn't quite a tank, but he survives like he is one. I think this Vayne pick does have at least two at this moment good options to target. Look, Viego is just a champ that I'm surprised is not getting adjusted, and by adjusted I mean nerfed heavily in this upcoming patch, because he has so many different item paths he can go down, and he just doesn't die on any of them. He survives for so long, invulnerable, invisible for a long time, great laning phase. I think his healing on minions did get nerfed from 100% to 50. That's a very strong nerf. But the thing is, Viego stays alive in team fights. Viego is borderline a ranged champion with that Q. So he's going to be a very, very strong champ here that also scales very well for Lotus White.
Also, his stupid long auto range. He's like one of the only melee champions that can kite other melee champions just because of how far out, and of course the attack speed he builds. But somewhere out there in the world, somewhere in the depths of Academy League, Zen is shaking in his boots that is a Skarner locked in against Ezreal here for Hawkthorne.
Yeah, this Skarner is like one of those picks that it's not meta, right? It was kind of meta for a hot minute there, but there are obvious weaknesses for Skarner. His pre-6 ganks are just not great at all. You have to be completely disrespecting his presence in the jungle to actually get ganked and really be able to force a flash out of you from a pre-6 Skarner gank. Post-6 Flash Impale, I mean, you're borderline. You're kind of just out of there. He's the kidnap king in that jungle. We've kind of just zoomed through the second phase of bans, and we're already on our picks. But yeah, this Skarner jungle pick for Smart Pants, for Arth, I want to see how it looks. I want to see how he posts his champion.
But here's the Vlad band. They're thinking this is going to be a Viego top with the double mid bands here coming out for Hawkthorne. On the opposite side, removing the Ziggs, they don't want to see it. But I also would have liked to see it slotted into this composition with the Ezreal. Like they could have built out a very powerful pick composition. But of course, again, removing another safe pick here in the top lane, they don't want to see that Malphite.
Nope, they don't. And instead, we are looking at Hawkthorne calling the wrong shot. They thought that this Viego would probably go into the top lane. Now, this could still be Viego jungle, right? So we don't know exactly where this Viego is going yet, but Mordekaiser is going to be locked in for Common Taco. A very strong, well, I'm going to call him very strong, but still you have a very good look with good damage over time. You have an ability to isolate a target, maybe even that Vayne, maybe even the Shin potentially, and get a champion out of there, out of a team fight when you need to, especially at objectives. But a Misfortune coming through here for Necrox, I won't lie, I'm a big Misfortune fan. Stash hasn't been in the meta very strongly at all this season, but I think in the right. Wait a second.
This is Misfortune support, I believe.
Wait,
no.
Where's Nautilus going?
Ezreal mid?
No, Ezreal mid. Didn't Ezreal mid go crazy last week?
It did, yeah. We saw it on, I believe it was Booty Bang and Billy, or no, it was Belby that actually ended up making a huge comeback on the Ezreal. So this could actually be the Ezreal mid here. Misfortune bot with Nautilus. I will say I'm not sure if I like the Mordekaiser pick here into the Vayne. Like I said, very strong into those kind of bruisers, health building tanks. But this pick composition right here by Hawkthorne completely with the just is reliant on this Vayne. You got the Shen on the shield, Skarner to peel, Karma on the shields as well, and a Zillion to keep her alive and well with those speed buffs. So all ending on the Vayne pick here for Hawkthorne. We're really going to see if Lotus White can shut this one down.
I need Hawkthorne to please, if they can, if I have a mod in the chat, can you guys go ahead and put that exclamation point AM grind in the chat for me? You guys have to wake up. I need you guys to wake up right now with AM Grind Coffee. Use code Excellency Esports at checkout for 10% off any of your purchases. I need them to figure out why they decided to go for Mr. Obama Get Down comp, where protect the president comps. I have a very, very big problem with those. Zillion, I love Zillion as a champion. I think Shin is one of the strongest top laners in the game. But I'm not a big fan of protect the AD carry comps, especially when it's Vayne. Low range, has some mobility. Obviously, you have Karma and Zillion, a lot of speed in the team. But I have a pretty big problem when all of your damage comes from one source.
Yeah, it's super dangerous, and probably saw from this AD carry last game, counters was just constantly jumping in. So I'm hoping we won't see some Vayne spotting moments, some Vayne just tumbling forward here into some Ezreal damage or a Mordekaiser pull. I think it's dangerous to put such an aggressive person on this Vayne pick and then invest everything into them. We'll have to see that's what ends up panning out, but really, yeah, it's a very clear cut and dry win condition here for Hawkthorne Esports, and equally the same for Lotus White, is all they got to do is take out this carry.
Yeah, there's only one real member you want to get onto, and it is that Vayne, and it's short range, so there'll be some good chances to get onto him, especially with the, like I said, make it rain into the pool from Mordekaiser. The depth charge. I mean, Viego can get into the middle of anything. So it's going to be a bit of an issue. You have to execute so extraordinarily well if you're Hawkthorne. And judging from how we saw them play from last game, that's going to be a tall task, maybe even Venti, maybe even Trenta for this squad. But I am still holding out. Maybe I'm holding out. Let's call it just theory crafting here. What if we're looking at AP Misfortune mid? Never mind, it's Ezreal mid. I want to see AP Misfortune mid and then Ezreal bot still, but not gonna happen.
It's okay. You wanted to believe. I will also say with the Viego here, there's not a lot of characters I think you'd really want to pick up. I mean, this team composition is entirely powered by the ultimates. Shen ultimate, best ability to skip by far. Short range engagement. Skarner, very bad without his ultimate. Zillion, I mean, I guess you could speed someone up, but really you're looking for that ultimate. So I actually like the composition Hawkthorne has picked here in the Viego. I think he doesn't have a lot of options for characters he'd really like to pick up and run through that team fight with. But also, I think we're going to have to see this game, someone on this team build a Serpent's Fang. I feel like it's such a rare lethality item to ever see, but all the shields on this team you're going to have to burn through might make this item actually necessary.
I think we saw a Serpent's Fang in our last game. I think it was picked up maybe by the Tristana, I think potentially. But either way, yeah, Serpent's Fang has a huge value in this game. Hovering the Seraphine here, not going to be that one, as Matty Mice has a little bit of fun in the client. One thing I want to mention here, while I was talking about theory crafting with Miss Fortune, there's not a ton of setup for her to get a bullet. I keep thinking Bullet Storm. It's not Bullet Storm. It's is it Bullet Storm? It's not Bullet Storm. You know what I'm talking about. Her ultimate though. I don't think there's a lot of setup for her to actually make a move on that, and I'm not sure how much damage it's going to be doing. So I'm a little bit confused as to how Necrox is going to find openings for this Misfortune to actually have a huge advantage in this game, especially when I think the win con might be peeling for this Ezreal that St. Alucard is going to be piloting here. So I definitely want to see how Lotus White sets up for their two carries, and really what kind of value we're going to see Necrox get out of this Misfortune.
Yeah, I think the real play here for him is honestly just waiting really far back, kind of letting the Ezreal do his thing, get some damage down, and then repositioning to handle this Ezreal, or handle the team comp as they collapse onto the Ezreal. Necrox really isn't going to be the primary damage tool here, and really once you're playing the Misfortune, you're going to drop self-CC onto you. You have the Scar that can come in and grab you. You have the Zillion that could double bomb you. There's so many things they could do to interrupt this Misfortune that I think you're absolutely right. This isn't a super high value pick, so Necrox is going to have to play very safe in order to get any good Bullet Storms off.
Yeah, I think I tripped you up there. I just looked it up right now. It's Bullet time. Bullet Storm does sound right though. I don't know why Bullet Storm would be a good ultimate actually. Bullet Storm sounds like it's something already though.
Next AD carry, we'll give it to them. Maybe Samira can use it or something.
Bullet Storm would be a hell idea for a name for a marksman, but or for an ultimate or just an ability. I mean, nowadays 2021 champs have ultimates as their basic abilities at this rate. But still, if I had to pick a comp right here, I have questions about Lotus White's comp. But even though the point you made about Hawkthorne not having a lot of champs that Viego would like to possess, he can live. He could be okay. He's just fine without possessing those champions. Worst case scenario, he picks up a Karma. He picks up a Shin and just uses his reset. Right, gets the body, puts a little crown over their head, uses reset, and goes back to being the unkillable champion that Viego is. So there are very strong win cons, and they scale pretty well. And there's a pretty decent I guess damage profile here for this composition. There's AP ratios on both Misfortune and Ezreal, not high, but there are some there for the two champions, and decent enough catch for Lotus White. But their comp has damage. It just has damage wherever you look, and it's gonna be very, very hard for Hawkthorne Esports to, I think, balance that out. My eyes go strictly to Godzilla. How well can he use these Stand Uniteds? Because if he is really great on this Shin, then it makes moves bot side early. This could be a pretty solid game for Hawkthorne, but I'm just not a big fan of these Protect the President comps.
Yeah, I think as one kind of final note here, as we get closer and closer to the start of draft, I'd like to point out that with this composition for both these teams, there's going to be more split pushing this game. We saw a lot of 5 versus 5 last game, but with the Shen wanting to always be in a side lane, creating that pressure, and then Mordekaiser being very happy to receive that in that side lane, we're going to see two champions in one lane somewhere in the map constantly duking out. So this will be a very exciting map, as we do only have the 4 versus 4 in most cases coming up here. I think that's all the time we have here for analysis, so we're going to hop into the game here in just a second with, once again, Dunzy and Zephyr. So thanks for analyzing with these shells. We'll be right back with some more League of Legends action. Game 2, Lotus White versus Hawkthorne Esports coming up.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Excellency Light League. We're bringing you the second game of this series here between Lotus White and Hawkthorne Esports. If you're just joining us, we came off of an intense game one where Lotus White, against what was incredible team fight composition here from Hawkthorne, took game one in 37 minutes. I am your play-by-play caster, Zephyr, and I'm joined once again by the lovely Dunsey as my color.
Thank you, Zephyr. You are lovely yourself, too. We do have an invade that is completely spotted out here from Lotus White. Looks like Hawkthorne don't care. They're just going to understand that this is happening. Matty Mice holding steadfast in his little bush next to the mid lane here.
Get some vision.
And, he gets a nice little mantra Q as well. Unfortunately, won't get any gold for that. No one was near him to proc that.
They get some blue vision, by the way. Yeah. Hardstuck steps up, expends the ward.
So he was just kind of, he was making himself known. He said, "This is my swamp," and takes the Skarner thing for himself. Spire.
This is his swamp.
Yeah. Zephyr, by the way.
Welcome to the MG, the PGA Tour.
Okay, I see. Yeah. I don't know how to do that. The golf cast? Yeah. We need to bring Hickory back.
Anyways, what's up?
I was gonna say, counters really showed up for most of the game in game one.
This is true.
But what happened? He got caught a couple times. I mean, that's okay. You're just gonna go out there and say it. He kind of ended the game away. The split push was egregious. And
the split push I'm not too mad about. I get where he's coming from. The last one, that one was a choice, and it did not work out in favor of Hawkthorne. But I'm more upset about the Tristana syndrome, where you're launching into every possible fight available with or without the engage you've set up with the blessed comp that Hawkthorne had last time. But now, level 2 advantage in the bot lane. Necrox and Firestreak's going to take advantage of that while they can.
Yeah, they actually lose that trade. Completely opposite targets between Necrox and Firestreaks. Just a little bit of a mistake there from the Lotus White bot lane, and counters and Matty Mice are safe and sound here in their double-ranged lane.
They're general thickos. They've got it. No problem.
I did want to mention, because, we talk about this Tristana syndrome that counters had. They pick them early, nice enchanter to keep them real safe. And then they last pick Zillion. They say, okay, counters, go in Vayne spot. We know you're going to do it anyway. We got you. You have a chrono...
Hey, if you have a win composition that's centered around a hyper-aggressive AD carry, you might as well put the eggs in one basket. And that's what they're doing with this composition, quite literally all across the board. I think only Arth is the one that isn't going to be playing towards Protect the Vayne, and instead going to be setting up and enabling the Vayne.
Yeah, still a utility champion. You have 4 people supporting Vayne right now, in one way or another. There is the damage profile from Hawkthorne Esports is going to be, I mean, it's not going to show up in the graphs this way, but in team fights, it's going to be 90% Vayne. And Lotus White have one target that they're trying to focus, but if they all target select onto the Vayne. There's Chrono Shift. There's Mantra Shields coming out from Matty Mice. There's a Shen ultimate that's going to be coming over the top. I mean, there's so much utility here. So it's going to be interesting. How are these two teams going to play and navigate these team fights? Because it's going to be real touch and go there in the mid game.
Touch and go is what it will be, but counters is also got to live through it. That being said, Smarty Pants with the first gang towards this top side, this time around Godzilla not having to expend the flash if we get some deja vu action from game one. We'll say nothing too crazy as of yet. These team comps definitely relying on a bit more of the scaling potential like they did in the first game.
Yeah. And I mean,
especially with the Vayne.
Yeah, I know. And they did put all the baskets into the Vayne, and part of the sacrifice by doing that
into the Vayne. They put all
sorry,
of the baskets
eggs into the Vayne.
They put
the eggs into the Vayne basket. What? Oh my God! Counters taking 3 turret shots.
I mean, I get what he was trying to do. You expend the heal from Necrox, and that's going to be something to play around here. Loses the flash. I see, you know, he was trying to catch him out. He was trying to get the early 1-up on this man, and Necrox just simply pressed, you know, the F, or I suppose the D key, because he's inting, but the F key should be to get that heal off.
Yeah, and Smart Pants is kind of nearby, but
seen
again,
this one before.
Yeah, this movie has played out. Here they come.
An immediate flash start here with Necrox. He has the flash available, but he's not going to be utilizing anytime soon. Arth coming around this backside to get the root off here, as well as the stun onto Fire Streaks. And it's going to be the double here in the bot lane to start things off for Hawkthorne.
Yeah, 1K gold lead at 5 minutes. Really cheeky play, and that time really paid off for Hawkthorne. I didn't know. I thought Smart Pants might come and help, but Lotus White thought that they were safe. They thought that these guys aren't going to be psychopaths and do it again, but the craziness works for Hawkthorne. That is part... Oh my God.
I mean, all right, Alucard. All right, I'll give you that. I'll give you that. Yeah, True Shot Barrage Steal. No wise, no wise. Oh, okay. Godzilla pulled into the Death Realm here. Can he survive against Kamentako? Personally, I don't think so. But with it coming down, the flash expended. It's actually going to be the flash from Kamentako under turret to actually secure the kill. Never mind. I thought Godzilla was safe there.
Yeah, I mean, nice play by the solo laners of Lotus White. I mean, it was a 1K gold lead. Now it's 400, and they took a Drake.
That's
and so, yeah. Exactly, those solo lanes coming up to work. Here comes a repeat gank though from Arth.
Arth knows exactly how this composition plays out, and you already have a Stand United as well here on the counters. Fire Streaks is all but dead, all 4 members, and they're easily just going to funnel this one over to counters. I can see the demise here starting to spell out.
Yeah, and that's something that Hawkthorne always does extremely well. They are able to get to the point of action as a team from across the map. Godzilla's always TPing in. It doesn't matter what champion is on. It just happens that he's on a champion that's even better at it than normal. With this Shen, the Stand United just securing this bot lane win for Hawkthorne right now. And again, we've talked about it over and over. Counters, they know he's the win con. They've made it so in this comp especially, and they have just complete laser focus onto getting counters ahead.
And that's all they need to do. Lotus, though, on the other hand, they have all the potential in the world to play around these solo lanes, find strength within, and see success on what it be Necrox, Alucard, or even Kamentako Pants, respectively. We only have seen them find that success towards the top lane. Once again, Alucard doing a great job controlling that mid wave like he did in game 1, and that's going to garner him a consistent position into being a potential threat into the mid game. But other than that, nothing too crazy. And fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you. And Matty Mice counters not quite gonna make that alcove work this time around.
Yeah, what about 3 times? Because that is the 3rd time Hawkthorne have tried it here.
True. Fool me 3 times, fool me again, as George President W. Bush likes to say.
Oh, okay.
That's actually a hilarious quote you should look up at some time.
Really? I mean, that does sound pretty funny.
Fool me again, fool me twice, well, fool me again.
Okay.
God, remember him?
You know what I do? He's actually the first, so I wasn't old enough to really remember Bill Clinton, but George Bush was the first president I kind of like remember growing up with, so Anyway.
I was like 3.
Oh, he's from Texas. Yeah, you got the Texas blood. There you go.
This is true.
Anyway.
All right, back to League of Legends.
I wanted to make this point earlier that they saved mid counter pick for last as another ultimate comes down on Godzilla.
I don't know if he's going to be able to save this one, as Smart Pants is there for the return immediately. Instant stun out. Zilla now rotating towards that river. Probably not going to be the safety that gets him towards his success as a Heartbreaker. Coming through at the very end, able to secure that one.
Yeah, really nice just return gang from Smart Pants. I mean, he didn't make it the first time, but he knew that Godzilla's flash was down. Well communicated by Lotus White, and that's what they need to do. So we were talking about how Heartstuck Brother got the counter pick, but he sacked his own counter in the mid lane in order to sacrifice and play better for the team and support counters. Now here comes Arth, return ganking in the bot lane. It's going to be 2v2, but he'll be spotted.
Spotted immediately. Now he does have the Impale to play around for the future here. He's going to successfully get this clear off on the control ward and make a return eventually, more than likely, as the control is massively in Hawkthorne's favor for this entire bot side, as it should be. That being said, we're just going to have to wait on that one.
Yeah, and so what happens is Heartstuck, sacks his own wave or his own lane here, and Ezreal, I feel like we're burying the lead. Vayne is what we're going to be talking about and looking at in the team fights, but you have a scaling Ezreal who also, like that Ziggs, is kind of just busted with the Divine Sunderer changes from a previous patch, and giving him a free lane to scale is very scary if you are Hawkthorne. So they have the Vayne scaling and they're winning that lane, but St. Alucard is just a ticking time bomb on the side of Lotus White.
Right. Well, St. Alucard has shown success. I didn't quite like the Anivia. It played well. It was good at controlling. It was
only 11-2.
Right. It didn't dissuade all of the pressure from Heartstuck Brother as I would have preferred, but it was still very good into the mid lane game.
Yeah, here comes a Drake fight. Luckily, Alucard did steal the first one, and Smart Pants is caught out, I think.
Maybe the Impale is going to be what catches him out, but they actually don't get the initial setup as a triple knockup coming through here. Taunt immediately onto Necrox, taking low as the teleport comes in the back line. There's that True Shot barrage. Doesn't really find anyone but Zilla here. Kamatako with the major pull onto counters to start things off as he walks further and further, trying to secure that Realm of Death onto counters. Unable to do so as that Chrono Shift comes in at the very last moment. Now Arthur and the rest of the squad steps up to take the kills. The Impale pulls back. What is Smart Pants now? Alucard trying to step back into the face here as a good dredge line sets up the route onto Zilla to get the return here for Lotus. Looking to be that 2-for-1 as Alucard continues to poke this one out. Looking like that'll be possibly all. I don't think this is it here. You're definitely okay. There's the double stun and the bomb to secure the kill there for Heartstuck Brother. So it's going to be that 3-for-1 here in favor of Hawkthorne.
I don't know how many times Lotus White are going to flash or save their flash for unnecessary things. Alucard decided to flash nothing instead of the double bomb there. Beautifully played there from Heartstuck Brother, who had one target in mind, and it was counters, and he was just spamming his portrait with the Chrono Shift. A sliver of health, but now Necrox is caught.
Necrox caught out here. I'm curious if they'll be able to find him before he makes his way into turret, and Deja Vu. It's actually not gonna find the kill. I was all but sure the initial condemn at the very end there would secure that one, but not quite.
Yeah. And that was a super late flash, too. He doesn't get a reprieve just because he lived there. He should have flashed way earlier. I really don't get it. But anyway, Common Taco is what's doing the work for Lotus White. He's the one with the winning kind of lane, and he almost solo counters with maybe Bramble or a little bit more damage. He could be able to take him down. We'll see, though, because I think it's only going to get better for counters if he goes into Death Realm. Next time, he'll be able to just outright win. Now, had a nice condemn to start off the ultimate, and it stopped Common Taco from continuing the pursuit, which saved his life in the end. But it was close.
Yeah, as it was said in chat, I know no one can see it right now, but it was calculated.
It was calculated.
It was calculated.
It certainly was by Heartstuck Brother. He had, because whenever he came out of that Death Realm, everyone was stacked on top of each other. So I am like convinced that he was just spamming R on the portrait of counters and not the actual champion.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah. Well played by him.
That's guaranteed.
Yeah. It came out the instant he popped out of the Death Realm.
And it saved the day, and it just completely changed the fight's pacing, and that's literally what this comp is going to be doing all game long. I don't have to explain it any better than that fight as a whole. They put all their eggs into the counters basket, and as long as they stay alive long enough to make sure counters doesn't die to the death realm, now he is going to more than likely pick up that I'm losing the current words for it.
The bot lane turret?
No. The thing that gets you out of the death realm.
Oh, the Quicksilver.
Thank you. I have no idea why that was frustratingly missing from my vocabulary. But once he picks that up, he should be completely fine.
Yeah, and Viego's here to exit the death realm. Godzilla's in trouble.
I've seen this one before. This time around, the flash is available for Zilla. Heartsbuck can rotate up, play around with that chrono shift if that's something he might look for. And yeah, no, easily speeds him away, and they're both out clean.
Yeah, so he did have to use Flash, which isn't that big of a deal for Godzilla because he still has Stand United, he still has Teleport, and that means Lotus White can never aggress on the bot lane. There's too much help, although they're going now.
Ooh, immediate immediate engage onto Matty Mice there.
TP.
You're going to see that depth charge get the knockup on the counters. And like you said, TP coming in here. Immediate final hour, though, to turn the fate as he tries to go for Neckox directly. Finds that kill and now kites this one back. Sadly, no one finds the response, and a double is in favor here for counters.
Yeah, immediate Shen taunt onto Alucard saved the day for counters who played very aggressively. Firestreaks had a beautiful exhaust to keep Necrox up, but at the end of the day, if you don't hit your skill shots, which Alucard missed there, it's going to be trouble. And counters is 4-0-4 with a 400 gold shutdown. He has shield bow. He has all the tools in his inventory and in his team composition to succeed. Meanwhile, Lotus White, they're going to trade for the top lane turret, but it's not worth it. The basket is getting larger. The eggs are continuing to fill into Hawkthorne's wonderful breakfast brunch, whatever you want to call it, that they're having here. This Vayne brunch, this Vayne omelet. And man, Lotus White, they're full. They don't want any more. They're good.
They're done. They've had their fill. And I feel bad because I think Alucard definitely could have particularly found that specific kill. There was a few of those shots that went a little bit wide, and I think had they hit, we would have seen a dead counters, which would have bolstered what is already a disgusting champion even further here in the mid lane. But sadly, like you said, the eggs continue to come. The chickens are here to roost, Mr. Dunsey.
Name a better duo, Hawkthorne Esports and being cheeky. Like, this is they're playing around Vision so well. They love the cheese, and I'm here for it. Like, they are able to find these surprise plays. Sometimes they don't work as well, like in game one in the oh my god, the alcove. But they continue to try. They don't go away. This is their identity, and they're gonna find some picks eventually with this. Yeah.
This is why I consider this team to be the #1. All right, they're all on the same brain. They share one and pass it around.
They all share the counters brain. Oh, Ezreal's going for a steal.
This time around, I don't think he's going to find it. Nope, not quite. That's the first Ocean Drake secured here on the Rift, and that's going to continue to stack up and plays very well into a lot of the poke that is available here from Lotus White. I will say that top lane is being torn down here, so they're going to lose out on the pressure as Godzilla is going to be forced to respond. Now, notably, he will have Stand United up for any particular team fight that we see Hawkthorne take, so no big deal.
Yeah, here comes counters, has the shield, has the speed up from Zillion, just untouchable. How is Firestreaks ever gonna find a hook? Needs to start off with depth charge if they ever want to CC him, but it's so hard because, I mean, like, you need to bait out Chrono Shift, you need to bait out the Stand United, and then back off again. It's just,
everything needs to come out here first, and the rest of your squad's got to survive all at the same time. And that is such a stacked plate for them.
Absolutely. It's hard to do. It's hard to do even for diamond level, challenger level teams to play disciplined and patient enough to wait out those cooldowns. And so I really think that in order for Lotus White to find a window of opportunity, they're going to have to split push, just like you saw in the top lane there from Taco and Smart Pants. That's what they need to do. They want to avoid counters as best as they can. But here he is.
Might not be able to. Alucard, initial engage here. No condemn to be found. That final hour expended. Death Realm going to be thrown here onto counters. And now the rest of Hawkthorne going for the immediate play here to see if they can save this man. Stand United expended immediately off of his aggressive pull, Impale as well, to make sure that Common Taco goes down. And notice, Counters isn't even low, and the shift is already on him. That's how much they literally want this man to survive. They're literally just stacking all the potential immediately.
Yeah, and here's a nice engage.
Good engage, double taunt, stun here. Bullet Time's gonna put in work, but it's not gonna be enough to prevent the aggression that is Counters. You see the turret take out Zilla, but the damage is done. Counters flash forward, turns his attention onto St. Alucard. Sadly, Necrox isn't able to get that last auto off, and Counters walks out of this one, able to pick off that last bot lane turret before inhibiting. At this point, Hawkthorne, back off. You found your success, you found your turret, you found your kills. Stop going so aggressive, Counters!
I mean,
Why?
Necrox is caught here too. Uh-oh, Matty Mice, can he go down?
Alucard's gonna go down eventually due to this bomb, but not before he picks up a triple kill for himself. Arth here gonna be facing a walk out of the jungle. Maybe a walk of shame, but my gosh, there's a mad Zephyr somewhere here along these lines.
What was that shutdown? Who got the Vayne shutdown? It was Ezreal. 500 gold, so an 800 gold shutdown overall for him. Plus, he picked up another shutdown. I think it was on Heartstuck, it must have been. And so,
right.
I mean, look at the inventory. Frozen Heart on its way here for St. Alucard. He just picked up a triple kill there. That'll slow down Counters a little bit. You see the Thornmail, I mean, the Randuin's also coming out soon for Viego. You see possibly a Thornmail coming out from either Mordekaiser or Nautilus at some point. They all know where the damage is coming from. They all know the itemization that they need to stack in order to try to slow this man down, who is just nearly unslowable. They're very lucky to have picked that off, and it's not for no other reason other than Hawkthorne just being Hawkthorne once again. It comes with the territory, right? They're so cheeky. They're so, all mind of one with the counters and just being so well prepared in these team fights, and then they overstay. They get a little greedy. They want more blood because they tasted a little bit. They're sharks in the water and they can't help it. So that's Lotus White's one opportunity to come back, is to punish this over-aggression from Hawkthorne.
Comes around. It literally ebbs and flows every single game, and I cannot get more upset every time I see it. Literally got all those kills, and it's like, awesome, turret secured. Windows are now officially down here. You're not going to be able to save Counters anytime soon. Leave. Yeah. And then they didn't.
And I think the book is out on Hawkthorne. In fact, that's such an easy, I don't know if it's easy, but it's a very fixable kind of mistaken mentality for a team. And I think if Hawkthorne are ever able to just go back and kind of practice this discipline, they very well can be the absolute strongest team in this league. I mean, they have a gold lead right now, a little bit of a gold lead and a Drake advantage in Game 2 against Lotus White. The almost undisputed rank 1 team in Light League right now. So they're going blow for blow. They should have taken, that's right, they should have taken Game 1. And here's the team fight again.
Counters immediately with the start to this engage. No surprise there. This man is the engage for his team, whether he is the carry or the front. Going to be taken into that death realm, and it's actually going to be Common Taco facing more death on his end of the bargain here. Out of the realm comes Counters, and now the rest of the squad is looking dire and worse here for Lotus as Counters continues to step this one up into the backline. It's a double, it's a triple, it's everything for the man himself. Alucard, the only one left alive, and maybe not. Counters says, I see you, you're mine as well.
Yeah, triple kill, extremely important team fight going over to Hawkthorne. 3k gold lead. They're on Soul Point. They're going to get Baron as well. The death timers are still 30 seconds for the likes of Alucard. And I don't know where he was in that team fight. He was zoned off, but he never made it there to help Lotus White find that re-engage. At this point, Common Taco cannot Death Realm Counters. He's too weak. Counters is too ahead. He's just going to kill you in your own ultimate. Like, this absolutely just is so in favor of Hawkthorne. This is their driver's seat. This is the best lead that they've had all night long. It's on them right now. This is their opportunity. They need to seize it.
This could be good, though, for Lotus. Yeah. Hold on. This is a very low Baron. All those windows we discussed that protect counters are now officially down. You've got most of the members stepped up here to go for the potential fight. They don't find the steal, but now they're going to look for the kills. Immediate route to start things off on the Matty Mice as we see the return for Hardstuck going down immediately over the wall. Common Taco comes onto Zilla and the rest of them as a double is secured for St. Alucard. Now counters in probably the worst position yet here as all 4 members locked this man down for a 3rd kill here. I don't think they're going to be able to find Arth and Zilla, but the job is done. Most of the potential targets that are going to make this Baron as worse as possible are already gone.
Yeah, I mean, 3 Barons gone. They are able to hold on to 2. I think this is a little greedy from Lotus White because they don't have a wave to take this turret. 5v2 though might be able to just tank it up, but they want the inhibitor.
They definitely want it. Bullet time coming out. Zilla with that hard engage as a result is going to be taken out here. Arth, the only one left to defend as Matty Mice and Hardstuck are finally coming back up, but it's going to be the inhib trade no matter what here. Lotus White just going to walk this one out now.
Yeah, and there's a lot of speed on Hawkthorne, but they're not going to decide to chase. I actually think they could have possibly looked at this. I mean, look how fast Arth is. They want it. They don't want to let go.
They don't care. They throw down the blue, and they're going to spot out Common Taco. This is the initial start here. Big stun available as the Impale is going to be all but the secured kill here. The rest of the Lotus White squad, they say, screw it, we're all but done.
Oh my god.
Matty Mice actually a little bit too low. Taco secures that kill off the back end, and as a result, it's a 1-for-1 trade. His counters here literally away from the entirety of his team. Final hour, St. Alucard the one to boot here. Over the wall he goes with that flashes. Arth is now the one on his focus. Using that shift, he goes a bit further into the midst of what is Hawkthorne. Ooh. Gonna see that Stand United expended onto Arth there, and the Chrono Shift actually pulled back here onto Hardstuck Brother. They find that kill onto St. Alucard though, and it ends up pulling into the pockets of Hardstuck Brother.
Dude, for all of Hawkthorne's faults about being greedy, and Lotus White knowing that and trying to take advantage of it, they do the same thing. They're not infallible. Common Taco basing in that bush, he has no business. Alucard greeting for that scuttle buff, no business. Just 2 deaths for absolute reason. And so counters can do it, so can Alucard.
Big flash. Stun onto Smart Pants. He's going to be using the dash jump on that Heartbreaker to make his way out, but that's a huge ultimate to no longer have available.
Oh my goodness. And Smart Pants was almost another culprit for Lotus White. Like, just a little bit of sloppy play. So much aggression from both teams, and they're doing that part so well, but then they get a little bit uncalculated. They don't respect the enemy aggression. They're like, whoa, we're so aggressive. Why are you aggressive? And both teams are doing it. They just keep falling victim to the same traps. Yeah, what's up? What's up?
In Light League, I don't think any of the other teams right now can play to the pace of Lotus or Hawkthorne, and as a result, that's why they're in the position that they are, and no one's actually able to punish them when they get this forward or this aggressive, right? And so as a result, now you've got 2 teams of equally same skill level able to actually capitalize on the mistakes that come from being this aggressive, and you're seeing that in this series now.
It's very impressive. Arth 2-0-12 on the Skarner right now. He's everywhere finding those impales that have been super important. They're getting the picks that they need, and they're getting the numbers that they need. Godzilla's surely going to TP in at some point to fix these numbers because Soul Point is on the line. Common Taco's making his way topside. I really want him to be able to go to the Drake and contest 5v5. The one saving grace for Lotus White while they are waiting for the Drake to spawn in 40 seconds is they have the super minions in the top lane pushing down the inhibitor lane. So they have to play around that. Gonna be tough though. I think Hawkthorne just are too far ahead right now to take a clean 5v5. Oh my god.
I don't think it is available. Mid lane push coming through. Matty Mice actually taken very low from Alucard there as, yeah, like I said, Hawkthorne continue to push this mid lane out.
Yeah, this is their free inhibitor turret.
Yeah, that's a quick sweep there on that turret. As well as inhibitor.
It is 5v4 though. I mean, Matty Mice is a little bit zoned out. This is so awkward right now.
Firestreak's going to start one there. You see that depth charge expand on the counters, but it's already down. Counters low, though. I don't think that's going to be enough, as Necrox is going to be the first to take in out here. The rest of the squad doing a great job pressuring this one as Impale comes through onto Smart Pants' counters, lines up the successful double now, turns his attention to Firestreaks with those silver votes, is just ripping through and shredding this tank for a triple kill. Now onto St. Alucard he goes. No respect, though, as he is finally taken out, and this is where we might see the faults of Hawkthorne. My apologies, Alucard able to just find barely what is those 3 kills. Hearth and Hardstuck brother, only ones left alive here from Hawkthorne. Yeah, they can't make any further push.
It's the Ocean Soul, though. They're gonna go get Ocean Soul for this team. Yeah. And they say, to heck with the top lane. Who cares about those minions? They're dead anyway. St. Alucard literally saves the game.
By the way. Yeah, like, with that play. Yes, but at the same time, we just literally watched Counter line up his ducks in a row and shoot them all down in that fight. And if it was not for that initial kill there from Alucard, the game would be over right now. And
absolutely,
that fight as a whole, where it was 4v5 for the longest time, it doesn't spell anything good for Lotus, in my opinion.
No, I mean, they're getting there. So they came at it from like 3 different angles.
Yeah.
And they allowed the ball of Hawkthorne to just navigate wherever they wanted to. Wherever the isolated target was, they were able to get, which was Necrox, who decided to base for whatever reason and solo defend the inhibitor turrets.
Try to like split, try to maybe go for some kind of pinch. Did not work.
No, not at all. I mean, you're right. It literally was just ducks in a row, 4 counters. It was a feast. He got to just choose from the buffet of Lotus White kills. And I think the only knock I can have on them is that they're using the Chrono Shift. They're using the Stand United too early. Kamatako, you're going to get caught out, bro.
More than likely, as Godzilla continues to split push in the bot lane, knowing he has Stand United available for any Baron contest. He actually might be aggressed upon by Alucard and Necrox here, so this is a good pick to be held. But with no major carry towards that Baron, it's pretty much free for Hawkthorne.
Wow, they're actually going to be able to kill him.
Yeah, they'll kill him, but I don't think it's worth it, as the rest of the squad here from the side of Lotus White are taken out. You see that initial engage on Smart Pants for a first kill here. Now Kamatako in that Death Realm taking counters once again, going to pay that price here. And with his squad now available to make sure he survives, like, not even that true straight up barrage matters. That's the Chrono Shift that saves the day once again. Full health counters, and he's already going to start running down the rest of this squad here. Firestreak's the first one to go. Big double stun with the bombs there from Heartstuck Brother to start things off, and it's going to be the actual end here for Alucard as that last one ticks down as well. And with Necrox literally the only one left alive, they just have to walk this one down now.
Yeah, counters, the absolute man. Heartstuck Brother saves his life from that True Shot Barrage. His ultimate's back up. And Hawkthorne have found their groove. They have taken game 2 off of Lotus White. It is a series, baby. We're going to game 3, 1-1.
And I think they capitalized on everything that they did well in game 1. They just amped it. They said, all right, we play around counters. Our whole win con is counters. And that's all they did in game 2. They didn't pull back and say, no, we need a little bit more well-rounded. No, we need to slow up the pacing. Not at all. This squad literally said, let's ramp it. Let's ramp it as far as it can go and literally make it so counters is the only thing that matters. And it worked. It literally worked.
Dude, he's 14-3-11. That's enough said. They built the comp around him, and he paid off.
That right there is the number 180 carry in all of Light League. I don't care what anyone says. If you have the ability to play the egg in the basket comp and based off of one person, and they're able to find a successful win, that is the best 80 carry. He's sorry. Good.
Yeah.
That's gonna be my bet right now. That is your all-star number 1.
I will not argue against that. Counter is definitely number 180 carry in Light League.
God, and what is the response? What do you do with that? How do you stop the number 180 carry in Light League? We saw game 1 play the favor of Lotus White, but what is the objective here for them at this point coming into the third and final game? I want to get your opinion before we toss it back over to the analyst desk.
They need to understand and respect that and understand that Hawkthorne are playing through him. And it's going to be a Fiesta bot lane nonstop. They're going to have nonstop support, so go elsewhere or commit, right, as a team. So it's on Lotus White to be able to fight fire with fire in the bot lane and say, okay, we can 5v5 better than you early, or just sack the bottom lane and go top and go mid, make plays elsewhere. They tried to do that, but it was not enough in game 2.
All right, well, we'll have to see if that pays off, and we'll also have to see if our analyst desk agree with you here, Dunsey. That being said, we're going to be passing this one back to Salpan and Shellatron as they tackle what was the first win of the night here for Hawkthorne Esports.
Well, Shellatron, you may not like it, but the eggs in the basket composition managed to pull it off. What an insanely well executed composition. I really thought they wouldn't have it in him. Counters really stepping up to the plate this game and really showing that he has the ability to put on the carry pants and pull off victories for his team.
Yeah, I mean, you and Zephyr called it the eggs in the basket. I think I heard Dunsey talk about omelets or something at one point during the cast. But yeah, when you are that egg, that is the vein. And when you are a player like Counters, you can make things work when you have no other damage dealing champion around you. It's not just about Vayne being such a strong champion that scales very well. We saw how him and Matty Mice in lane taking 3 turret shots and then becoming alcove gamers, being the spy masters in the lane, turning it around on Necrox and Firestreaks, able to get a double kill right there in the lane, just playing it so, I want to call it insane, honestly. I couldn't wrap my mind around it to put it into I couldn't 5-head to say, this is a very strong strategy that was deployed by Counters and Matty Mice. I think they just said, we're going to stay on the map. We're going to circle the block and just sit right here, and they're going to step forward, and we'll take advantage of them. Now, sometimes did it kind of put Counters and Matty Mice into disadvantageous spots? Of course. But when it worked, and it worked more often than it didn't. So it's the strat. It's just how things work now. It's how you should play this champion Vayne in your solo queue games.
And let's not forget, it looked a little bit scary there. They were sacking a lot for Godzilla there, always teleporting down on top of the Vayne, making sure she was staying alive. I think at one point I saw Kamantako go up around 60 CS on him. And the danger there is that there's now a split push that on the map. You're going to always have your Shen forced out. And whenever he makes that teleport, he's going to get further and further. And at some point, you're going to have to send 2 to stop him. There was a lot of kills going over to the Mordekaiser, a lot of gold being funneled. He was kind of like what was holding the gold advantage in place there for Lotus White. And ultimately, I think it came down to he just stopped split pushing. You cannot stop split pushing when that Vayne gets ahead. There's no way you're going to be able to duel her. You're a Mordekaiser. She can just tumble out all your skill shots. She can avoid your damage. She's going to duel you and win in your death realm. That is her space, not yours. So I think it was a little bit of disrespect towards the Shen, a little bit of disrespect towards the ability and strength of a split push and how strong that Mordekaiser can be in a solo lane. And ultimately, it was just really, really good play there from Counters.
Yeah, I think Lotus White really got baited into playing the game the way Hawkthorne wanted them to play it. Like you said, Mordekaiser in the side lane, it feels really good just in a bubble, like in a vacuum. But when you have Mordekaiser in a lane split pushing, that's going to attract one of these other members from Hawkthorne. It's not going to be the Vayne. It's going to be one of these champions that is going to be peeling for Vayne or tanking for Vayne or setting up plays for the Vayne. So it just gives your team that actually has 2 other damage dealers on the map even more ability to actually win fights. We saw a time bot lane where Necrox was able, no, it was Necrox, it was St. Alucard on the Ezreal, was able to get a triple kill. Now, was that really St. Alucard getting a triple kill, or was that Hawkthorne being benevolent beings and donating 3 kills in very rapid succession to St. Alucard? It's a coin flip either way you want to look at it there. But we saw opportunities for Lotus White to make moves and then get advantages across the rift. But they never took those. They played into the game that Hawkthorne wanted to play. And we saw it at the end of the game. Hawkthorne made the same exact play that Lotus White did. They ignored Dragon, went straight down mid, and made a play for the base there. And from that moment on, it was basically all Hawkthorne all the time.
There was a few opportunities to think that they had to come back in that game, but let's talk a little bit about the previous draft as we get into this next one. There was the Ezreal being locked in first here for Hawkthorne. I think that was a great, or for Lotus White, I think that was a great pickup, really, really smart. But ultimately, when you see the Vayne get locked in first round, you kind of know what they're going for. And I think when they locked the Nautilus, and Nautilus maybe wasn't a terrible pick because you have the depth charge. But when you lock the Mordekaiser and a AD carry into the Vayne, you're kind of banking on doing more damage than she is, which is just really hard to do, and she has so much protection for her. And then on top of just in execution, giving that Vayne so many kills, it was very dangerous here. And Counters just, again, I just got to give him props. Total and awesome pop off here in this game, always being aggressive and really, really proactive player.
Yeah, Counters has been playing very, very well, or he did play very well in this game. First game, a little bit of some wild plays with that Tristana. But once again, I got to say, it's kind of like tomato. Did Hawkthorne hard win this game, or did Lotus White give them opportunities numerous times to take it away from them, just almost even hand it to them? I think Lotus White definitely played to Hawkthorne's strengths and to their own weaknesses. But the draft was, I think, an issue. I think Misfortune wasn't the champion here. For the bullet time to work, you have to stand still. A lot of champions here that can get onto you with a shin dash. Zillion can speed up there, has his own kind of poke. Karma has her own kind of poke. There wasn't really the setup for that. Mordekaiser looked strong in the game, but probably could have been a better champion as well. And I don't want to blame the draft because Lotus White could have won on this draft. I think Lotus White definitely could have won on this draft. They just didn't play to their strengths here. And if you are Necrox, I know our casters Zephyr and Dunzy mentioned this, but if you are Zephyr and you are serious about trying to win number 1 AD carry, all Excellency Light League, be on the All-Star team, then you have to think about playing a champ that you're actually comfortable on, playing a champ like the Jinx that was open, playing a champ that you actually can perform on and have an impact with, and really show them that maybe Counters isn't the number 1 AD carry. Maybe it's you, and maybe you can find a way to carry your team, because a lot of these games, Lotus White has gone as Necrox has. St. Alucard too, but they have gone as Necrox has in a lot of their series before today.
I mean, also something to consider is that you don't need necessarily to win bot lane if you're playing on Lotus White. It looks like Hawkthorne Esports is investing so much into this bot lane, and all you need to do really is play safe. I thought the Sivir was a great pickup game 1. You sat way back, let the solo laners do all the work, and all you need to do is go even. They did a great job doing that the first game. This game, they very much struggled. It was an early gank that was amazingly pulled off here by Hawkthorne. Skarner coming in and picking up early kills. The Alcove Gamers play, as you called it, where they ran back after taking those turret shots. So great plays by the bot lane to stay in the game, but you have to know that you have to put some more trust in your teammates and not know that you don't need to make that aggressive play unless you're 100% certain that jungler is going to come and make it a 3 versus 2.
Yeah, there has been a ton of resources being pushed into this bot lane for the side of Lotus White, but I'm not upset about that. I don't hate that being the strat. Although Necrox can play champs that are willing to step back. And we even saw game 1, even though he was able to stay even there were times when we saw the Sivir and Karma getting very strong priority in that bot lane into a Braum Tristana. So he can play aggressive or passively to absorb pressure in that lane. And St. Alucard is a carry player himself. He is a top 3, top 5 player in the stats in the whole XT Light League. He's a very high octane kind of player that can be played around as a win con. We'll have to see exactly if a guy like Smart Pants is willing to do that. Maybe he plays a more standard champion this game in the jungle. We'll have to see when we get into the draft. And I think we should be getting in fairly soon.
I think you're absolutely right on that one. I would like to see Alucard on this Akali, but it has, I believe, been the first ban here from the side of Hawkthorne Esports. Definitely a smart ban, very strong right now in both pro play and solo queue. But we're getting to the draft here.